Hey everybody, welcome back to my views from Tumortown. Now, at a point, and I can't really recall exactly how this happened, but I always presumed that my boss at Guest Relations, the head of the page department, got a bee in his bonnet and, gave me like the worst job you could have, which was out at Century City. Century City's a little, suburb, if you want, of Los Angeles. And there's this complex there where all the main corporate offices for ABC are. Schubert Theater is there where like Broadway shows come and so forth. And ABC had a little photomat booth, if you remember what a photomat booth was. This teeny little one person booth that sat in the middle of the main floor plaza. Because there were two big tall towers, this plaza with a big park, and then two more buildings on the other side of the park. And of course, the job of the person there was basically to give information and, in theory, give out tickets to go see TV shows. Nobody ever got tickets because there were no tickets to give out. That was like a joke. But somehow I got stuck, excuse me, doing that gig. And I don't know how or why, but I did. But, the only good thing about it was 40 hours. And the girl who was doing the shift after me, which was the nighttime shift, was really like, can I switch with you and take the day shift and you take the night shift? Because she was really busting a hump to finish up some night schooling and to change it to night schooling, to finish up these classes and get her degree and get out of ABC and move on with a different part of her life. So that was great. I had the night shift. That was perfect. I think I was in it at whatever it was, 5 o'clock, out at 11, something to that effect. So basically, I ended up, the first few times sitting there getting a feel for what this was all about. And I went and I got a bunch of poster board and I wrote all these things on it. And so I would go into the little kiosk and I would set these things up around me in the windows. Excuse me. So all you could do is see me from the very front. But every question you could ask was answered if you read on the outside. Every one. There wasn't a thing you could ask that you couldn't find on the outside. But if you really needed to see me, you had to work to figure out where was the one place you could actually see the person inside. And that worked perfect. No one ever said a word. Nobody from ABC, nobody from property management, no one ever complained. No one ever said a word. And rarely did anyone ever try to talk to me, which was perfect. So the way it ended up working out is I would arrive, I would go to the kiosk, relieve the girl, she would leave, I would wait for about 20 minutes. Then I would go and put my back in 20 sign out, go to my car, get all my stuff on my little rolling cart, bring it out to the kiosk. I would set everything up in the windows. And then I had my little, portable radio cassette player, my little portable television set, and my little ice chest with food, snacks, and some stuff to drink, soft drinks, and generally a little bit of beer or whatever. And I would just sit there and listen to music or watch TV, snack, eat, drink, do whatever I felt like for those hours to kill that time. Then I would take a nice little break, walk out into the middle of the park at night, since there's hardly anybody there when you got to be like, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and smoke a nice little joint, come back to my little booth, blah, 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 spend my time, pack my stuff up and leave. So even though it might have been some sort of punishment or something, I turned it into a really sweet deal. And I got my 40 hours a week. And I had a damn good time sitting in that little booth as best as you could. Now, the one other thing that I did while I was there was I looked at the directory book of all the people working in the building, and I found the promotion guys. The guys that had all the ABC branded things, they would give people. Baseball caps, coffee mugs, that sort of thing. And I located a guy in that department who I could get along with, and we kind of struck up a little bit of a friendship. And, I was like, I'd sure like to get my hands on some of that promotional stuff. Well, I can't really just, supposed to give it out and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, what can I do for you? I used to work at Pacific Stereo. I can get you some sweet deals. And sure enough, we ended up making some deals. I helped him get some stereo gear for cheap. I got promotional gear. So after a course of time, I was loaded. I had ABC and Wide World of Sports branded stuff all over the place. And, I would wear it here and there when I would have to be on the lot for some reason. And people would go, hey, where'd you get that? Blah, blah, blah. And they had this big, meeting where all the pages were brought together to be told some new policy change or whatever. I can't remember. And I wore my full kit. It was like a warm-up suit, ABC Wide World of Sports, top and bottoms with a hat and the whole deal. And I know the boss was just like fuming, Now, is that what got him to finally let me out of that place? I don't know. But, it was nice because shortly thereafter, I did get out. And I can never say why, but at least I did finally get out of that hole and move on to other things again. But, again, I just turned something that was, particularly a very bad situation when you really didn't want to be in, into something good that I could work to my own benefit. And that was just the way I was back then in California. Everything was a positive. I could take no negatives. Everything I did, everything I saw, everything I attempted was in a positive nature and was going to be positive. That's just the way it was. So that was just one of those curious times that I got stuck there for, I think it was 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, I'll never forget in that little teeny booth, but I made that booth my home, and that was a wonderful thing. Peace, everybody. Hang 10.